Meeting. 6:02. We stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that brings us to additions, deletions, amendments to the agenda or the adoption of the agenda. I don't think we have any additions or deletions. So just looking for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
Been a motion to adopt the agenda by Director Paysinger and seconded by Director Sweeney. There's no discussion. Everyone raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Community comments. I don't think there's any. That brings us to the consent agenda, which is approving the regular board meeting minutes from the last meeting, confirming the employment and the second reading and adoption of the public records request policy. KBA AR 2-2 public records request.
May I make a comment real quick?
Yep.
Sorry, before we approve this, I apologize, everybody. I was not here at last month's meeting, but I did discuss this public records request policy with Amy a little bit at our last meeting, and I really appreciated that. I just wanted to point out, mostly for the public and for our parents, that the fees and the changes that we're making in this policy don't apply to records requests about your student. So if you do need to come in and ask for something about your student, that's all still free. And we're not targeting, reasonable requests. If you're coming in and asking for an item or two, that's not going to cost you anything. It's the big stuff where it really starts taking staff's time. That was how it was kind of explained to me. I appreciated that kind of clarification, and I'll be supporting this. But I thought it was helpful for everybody to hear that. So thank you.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion by Director Sweeney to approve the consent agenda as presented and seconded by Director Whitehouse. There's no other discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. City update. You guys are up.
Will turn green if you touch it gently.
Just whap it.
Say the magic word.
All right. Mr. Chairman, board members, Superintendent Fast, thank you for having us tonight. My name is Jeremy Caudle. I'm the city manager for the city of Dayton. Joining us today, we have the city of Dayton team who I'll introduce. We have Mayor Annette Frank, Council President Drew Hildebrandt. We have Travel and Economic Development Director Dave Rucklos, and our Finance Director Rob Walker. We're here to give you all an update on the Urban Renewal Agency. So you may recall a year ago, around this time, the city and the school district approved an intergovernmental agreement related to our Urban Renewal Agency. And your support and involvement was a critical part to getting that up and running. So the idea is the city will receive property tax revenues from that Urban Renewal Agency. We'll reinvest it into the community, and that'll grow the tax base. Now, part of the IGA that we had with the school district is that we were going to set aside 2.76% of those revenues. And then once it hits $1 million, we're going to write you all a great big old check like they give the lottery winners. So you can turn around and do the wonderful things that you do for your students. This is the first year that we've started receiving revenues. So in the interest of being a good neighbor and being transparent, we wanted to spend just a moment with you and let you know where things stand. So we'll have our finance director. He'll give you just a summary of the revenues we're getting so far. And then our tourism and economic development director has some updates on our urban renewal tax base and where we're projecting things with that. So Rob, you want to come up here?
Okay. So as I said, this is the first year we're doing it, and the idea behind the urban renewal agency is it's increase in property value. That's what you get your taxes on. And we don't have a very big base yet. So far, we started collecting in November, and in November we collected $12,819. Of that, the school's portion is $354. I'm projecting by the end of June, which would be the end of the fiscal year and for the tax year, there'll be about $16,155 collected, with that being $446 for the school. So,
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going from memory, so somebody feel free to correct me. But I was not under the impression we got our $1 million when your 2.67% or whatever you just said reached a certain amount, so we got the money. My understanding was after so many years, and I thought it was 5, you pay us. Feel free to look that up.
So that is correct. There is a deadline. If we don't hit that $1 million deadline by that year, then we pay what we have, and then we continue as 2031. So that's right around the corner.
Uh-huh.
So if we don't hit that $1 million by 2031, we give the school district what we have, and then we continue making annual contributions until we hit $1 million.
Is that how it's worded?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. That's what I remember.
Yeah, I have it here.
Okay, if that's how,
Yeah.
thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
I trust you if that's how it's worded. I was
Yeah,
going
right,
from
right.
memory. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Certainly.
Now we all know.
Good job. Good job, Terry.
Yeah, you're what's wrong. So you just heard those numbers and you're probably going, that's pretty dismal. Well,
Is that it?
right. We expected that this first year because we knew we weren't going to capture any tax base increase. We will be capturing the merchant block improvement here this coming year. I contacted the county assessor's office, probably 30, 60 days ago and asked them about it. And they said, well, we haven't done our assessments out there. We'll probably get it done in December. And maybe we don't have to come out. I said, no. Please come out and see what was done because it's obviously a major investment. So they're going to be out this month. I have put it on my calendar to contact them in the next 5 days and try to get an update as to what their assessed valuation is of that building. I do know how much was invested in it. It's a sizable number. Roughly $25 million was put into the building. So we are going to get a better idea of the calculation going forward for next year. And then we receive our funds typically starting in November, I believe the majority of them, but at that point. So then when we come back next year, we'll be talking a little bit different language to you.
Yeah.
We also are going to have a better idea about the development plans down there. I think you'll hear more about that in the coming months as to confirmation of what's going to happen. And that is also going to contribute to the estimated values that are going to be captured. So, yeah, it sounds terrible, but it's not. You'll be a lot happier when I sit here before you next year.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions for us?
Any potential on somebody leasing the buildings down there?
You mean the downstairs portion?
Yeah.
There's a barn restaurant grill type of operation out of Salem
Oh, great,
that is already, I think, pretty much they've been through there's a letter of intent in place.
great.
There's also a letter of intent in place for this will make everyone look tasting room. And then, but the good news is too, that the Stoller Group or Twin Towers isn't looking to invest in the old bank building, do the build out on that and actually operate a coffee, not necessarily breakfast, but croissant, donut, all that kind of stuff in that location as well.
That solar.
Yeah,
solar's company.
yeah, because they see it as a tie-in that they can use with the Inn of Dayton upstairs and with the potential new hotel. So they'll feed themselves basically through that. And then that would just leave one operation left. I know they would love to get a pizza place in is what they really like to do. So
There's a pizza mafia
yeah, they beat us to the punch, didn't they?
Yeah,
And they're all owned by the same person too. Yeah, yeah, we need that option. So anyway, yeah, that's about where it stands.
Great.
So I'm hoping to see some activity there in the coming spring for sure.
That's
Perfect.
so
Thank you.
encouraging.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really encouraging.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good meeting.
Appreciate y'all being here.
Brings us to the business and finance portion.
Way to go, Sean, you broke it.
Touch it lightly.
They did when you started on that.
That wasn't yelling, that was my,
You need some
I'm
help?
worried voice.
Pushing the button here.
Just gently.
Obviously not that.
Let her try. Kristen.
Just go like that.
Ah.
Now you know why Kristen is here. I apologize for firing you earlier.
Yeah.
So thank you for inviting us to come speak about our fiscal department. I presented in August talking about the operations in general. And as you recall, our operations program is really the non-academic side of the district. And so we're looking at our transportation department, our foods, our maintenance facilities, safety, technology, and data programs. And tonight we're going to just talk about, give you an update, the things we have been working on. I think one of the things I'm excited about is the team that we've built here at the district office. We have a number of people, as you know, that were new into their positions, but also new to education. And so just the language is it's a foreign language for several people. So we've been working hard to develop a team approach. And that's why I asked Kristen to be here. Actually, she threatened that she needs to speak here tonight. So I said, okay. So John, if you can start. So the purpose of our approach to the operations program of Dayton School District is to strengthen the accountability and transparency and efficiency. Specifically, we're talking about our budget procedures, our fiscal controls, human resources, our transportation. Even though first student is not part of us, it's important that we know how our kids are getting picked up and dropped off each day. It goes along with safety and communication, working with Otto on facilities, and of course the compliance system in all departments. And then we just wanted to share a few of the accomplishments we've seen so far. So everything we're doing, we're tying it to the district and Amy Fass's district goals, especially the first two. It's about student success. Even though we are on the operations piece of things, we have a firm belief that what we're doing is supporting and making things more efficient at the building level so the experts there can work with kids without all the distractions. We're trying to improve our efficiency and sustainability, and Amy keeps reminding me I'm to work myself out of a job. And so we want to make sure that when I'm not here, that things are understood by all parties and we don't skip a beat. Make sure that we're compliant in all areas, and of course, being transparent on what we're doing, especially on the funding side of things. And then basically, we're just shooting for that goal of operational excellence. One of the things we did this year is we took all the staff that are involved in each of these categories that you see up here or in front of you on the documents and created committees. And so we meet weekly as a budget and grant team. And so that consists of Jan and Deanne, as well as Kristen, myself, and Amy, and among others. We also meet weekly talking about our human resources and how we open up jobs, how we do onboarding, offboarding of folks, and then again, making sure that we have certified folks and the proper training in all areas. We do that, like I said, weekly. We also meet with student services to really, it's important priority for us to address our special ed programs and our ELD programs. And so working with Eric on the work that he and his staff are doing and making sure that there's communication between what he's doing and within the district, but also at the building levels with our admin. Uh, our bi-monthly meetings, we meet with Jeff Taylor at the grade school and Nicole Long, the assistant principals there, and Nicole's at the junior high and high school. And we talk about safety, working with auto and facilities. And we also talk about behavior attendance. Part of that has to do with the data piece. We as a committee are not making decisions regarding behavior attendance. We're just looking at the numbers and how we are addressing key things that pop up. And then we're working monthly with Norma in the food service program and then John in the technology. And again, we have different people that rotate into these meetings. And then the job is the people in those meetings go to the bigger meetings and back to the building and program levels and communicate. So we're building that sustainability, but several sets of eyes on all of our practices that we're putting in place. So that brings us to our budget and fiscal systems, and just I'll turn it over to Kristen to talk about just the overall improvements we've been making.
Yeah, some overall improvements are new budget code procedures, keeping aligned with the PBAM code, grant management workflows, and building a program budget tracking. Standardizing training for principals, program leaders, and secretaries, reconciliations of all accounts, and appropriate use of ASB funds.
And what that looks like in a practical sense is when our buildings and programs are filling out requisitions, we make sure that we've got multiple sets of eyes on things so that we don't have Jan coming back next year again, working on reconciling all of our accounts. And so
She said she's not coming.
They always say that.
remember, I was here for 2 weeks, so but anytime a requisition is filled out or a posting is made, it has to go through an approval process that most of you are familiar with the term workflow. And we make sure that the appropriate budget codes are being used. If it's under a grant, that it is an allowable use of those funds, that the code is correct, and that the person who's spending the money has the authority to spend that money. So it's a roundabout process that took some arm wrestling and just some persistency. She seems quiet, but she's very firm on making sure things don't go through. And then I help her making sure that admin are following those rules.
Some problems solved were inconsistent coding, some wasteful spending, credit card usage procedures, accurate and reliable numbers, input by all members of the school community.
You want to talk about the credit card use, what that was like? And
Yes, it was a little crazy at times, but I ended up pulling some credit cards and canceling them because we didn't need as many out there. So it's pretty, if anybody needs to use one, they come here, put in their requests correctly. And once everything is approved, then they get to use the credit card for an approved purchase.
So who actually carries a credit card?
Myself, Amy, I have a like a general admin credit card for people to check out if they need to go themselves to have one. Sean has one, but has never used it.
Sean.
Yeah. Not yet.
Just saying.
So like the
Yep.
principals,
Yep.
assistant principals.
And
they don't
actually,
carry.
just Robin, but Dana doesn't have one. If they need to use one, they come to me after they've filled out the proper paperwork, and then they get to check one out.
Great, perfect.
Right.
Yeah, we're still wrestling with that one, but we're allowing it for now. But we didn't need all the credit cards that were out there, and it's not appropriate use of someone just making a unilateral decision to use the credit card. So now it has to go through a process. And the probably the biggest headache has been that it requires the planning ahead of time now. And so that's, to me, that's a positive. So
Great.
System components, annual budgeting calendar, district budget workflow, quarterly reporting, grant claiming and tracking, internal audit procedures, and communication expectations.
So I don't know how people that were in the business manager role, I don't know how Jan decided to come back, because that's probably one of the toughest positions I've seen in this district, and especially when you have what Jan Deanne called willy-nilly going on a lot. To try to keep track of everything is, I think, impossible for one person the way things were operating. And so we really made a point that all program leaders, all building admin have to know their budget. And so knowing what their budget codes are, what the money is supposed to be used for. And I sit here in a meeting like this and most people are like, "Yeah, that's supposed to happen." But I'm just saying it wasn't an expectation. And so getting them to be familiar with how to, the different funds and functions and how a grant works has been a learning curve. And I feel like we've made a lot of progress in that area. And the goal is to take that and move it to an online system so that all the lead secretaries and admin will have access to their accounts. They'll be able to see what they've been spending their money on, what money they do have access for or accessed for, and as well as what they can spend the money on moving forward.
Great.
The impact and evidence of success. We've reduced coding errors, readily available data on each of our accounts, better transparency for admin, and fewer corrections in payroll, AP, and AR. And then next steps, continued staff training, online requisitions, cleaning up software systems and processes, and quarterly updates.
And the quarterly updates is a natural thing that we do in the education system, but we have not, we haven't been tracking anything in the past. So now the secretaries will be doing quarterly updates. We created spreadsheets for them to use so that they can record any expenditures for any of the accounts. And so, as you guys know, the state was looking at a shortfall. So if Amy says we need to make a 2% reduction, immediately, what are your proposals? They have it readily available in front of them as to where they can get that 2% from each of the counts. So that's probably one of the things I am proud of, is that people are starting to talk the language and starting to understand it. We still fumble through it a little bit, but I think we're on the upside of that. And the next step, like she said, is to move to an online system, so the efficiency will be really, really quick. And then the rest of your packet has to do with HR. We can come back and talk about that, or you can go through it. We just want to talk about the finance piece. But like I said, I just wanted a chance to show off Stephanie, and she's been working out with her sunglasses and so forth. But just the fact that this district office, like I said, has been working really well together, and the learning curve has been huge. They yell at me a lot, but we can talk about that another session. But I am seeing the progress, and I think I'm accomplishing what Amy has asked me to do in this role. Questions for us?
I'm thrilled. Truthful. This is great.
Thank you.
And the auditors will be here next month once the report is finalized. But in our initial meeting with them, they were just really impressed by how many internal controls we had implemented since last year, based on the last year's audit and just our processes. So I'm hopeful that you'll hear the same from them, and moving forward, that things will be a lot more efficient, as Sean said, and transparent for the community and the budget committee.
Are you finding it easy? Do you not have a credit card for like all your maintenance stuff? Like, is that working out for you?
Write that down.
Yeah.
So what was your question?
No, but they didn't mention you as having a credit card. So I want to make sure, like, how did that work out for you, knowing that you have a lot of maintenance stuff to
I
buy?
didn't have it for a long time. They gave it back to me, actually.
Okay.
You made the cut.
I would think you would need it with everything you need to.
It was a t-shirt. If you wear a t-shirt like that, you get a
You
credit
get-
card. Anything else?
I was just gonna say Otto and Eric sitting back there can probably attest to all the time spent on learning budgets though over the past year and how much work has gone into it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Frank's on his way. Oh,
Good timing, sir.
you're up. Hot seat.
Apologies. Home basketball game.
Uh-oh. Come on, get your.
Just click it on there. Thank you. You got it.
All right, fall athletics recap, probably one of the better ones we've had. This is we're going cheer first. Oh, no, from the beginning. Okay, perfect. Just some recap on participation. We had 136 high school students participate. We had 88 junior high students participate. This year we added junior high soccer and junior high cross country. All did exceptionally well. I'm pretty sure our junior high co-ed soccer team went undefeated. A lot of praise from other ADs around at their skill and whatnot, so that was really good. Football had a fantastic season. They were undefeated. They were league champions. Unfortunate loss in the playoffs, but when you get to that every year, they're just how it happens. And you can see the all league. Stephen Macias was player of the year. Wyatt Sherwood was lineman of the year. We had and a bunch of other awards, and then Coach Peterson was voted by coaches as coach of the year. I want to share one thing about Coach Peterson, just the class act that he is. So when we do our all league voting, it's electronic. So I'm in charge of football, when I'm entering in like scores, they pop up and the coaches can kind of watch like who votes for what. And Stephen Macias, it came down to Stephen Macias and Cole Tolan from Taft. And it was one vote that decided player of the year. And Jake, I could see Jacob was online watching, and he said to the coaches, he said, hey, the vote, Stephen only was ahead by one vote. I'd like to make a suggestion that Cole and Stephen were players of the year. So he's just the kind of person that Jacob is. So I appreciate him for that. So they both were co-player of the year. Volleyball had a fantastic year. We talked to the coaches always about building on the year before and the next year. And Sam Alexander taking over the program. They were undefeated league champions. They were obviously 21-6. They won one game more at Coos Bay than they did last year, finishing fifth against some really good competition. And then our five up there, Callista, Gabby, Maddie, Cadence, and Katie, that were are all league players, but they were definitely a fun group to watch. Boys.
Did Sam get coach of the year too?
She did not.
How when you're undefeated?
It was she I was the first one she called after the all league meeting, and she was actually very graceful. Being AD and being a part of the all league meetings, I know Larry and I talk about this a lot, but us ADs, we always talk about keeping the integrity of the all league meetings as they're supposed to, but they don't always go that way. With some coaches vote personally versus how it should be voted. So, I definitely had a few words for the AD that was running the all league meeting for volleyball.
Who got the coach of the year?
I believe it was the Salem Academy coach. And I could share my thoughts on that, because Gabby Chupp had probably the best offensive stats that a volleyball player could have, and she didn't get player of the year either. The Salem Academy girl did. Boys soccer, also, we had four undefeated teams this year: football, volleyball, boys soccer, and our junior high soccer team. Coach Johnny Miramontes was also voted coach of the year. Super fun group to watch. If you heard how the game ended, it was in the quarterfinals. It was double overtime. There was 18 seconds left. They had a kid from Crestwell that could literally throw in the ball probably 50 yards. It was just like a corner kick every time they got a throw in. And we defended it probably 20 times, where we punched it out and defended it. And
18 seconds left. Mason, our goalie, punches the ball out, and their kid does probably one of the most amazing high school bicycle kicks I've ever seen. Lays on his back, kicks it in the goal, and it was heartbreaking for our kids. But after the game, I actually talked with the young man, and I just said, "Hey, I'm heartbroken for our guys, but that was one of the best high school plays I've ever seen." And then our all league Johnny Mendez was Player of the Year, and then all of our other all league. Just got word that Johnny Mendez, Martin Rojas, and I'm pretty sure it was Alex Garcia. They also received all state awards. So fantastic season for them as well. Actually, I might be most proud of this group. Just improving from last year. They didn't have the wins. They suffered some injuries middle of the way through the season that really hampered them. But as an AD, it's not always about winning and losing. It's about growth and development and seeing them from last year just progress and get better. I appreciated Haley for the work that she did with our ladies. And we also had a good showing. Opal, Jocelyn, Rachel, and Emma and Izzy that were all league recipients. Cross country, a building program. I appreciate Coach Hannah and Cheryl Walsh, the work that they've done with our junior high team, and the team's doubled each year. So we had we had 4 last year. I think we had 8. They're not all in this picture. Her name's Janet actually broke the school cross country record at one of the last meets of the year. So just growth from each team, and we're just looking at continuing to build that as we move forward each year. And then cheer, they've kind of ebbed and flowed with their numbers. One of the goals with our cheer team is to make it more competitive. Right now, they just cheer for our sport teams, and one of the goals is to actually go to a competition this year and challenge them to add more of the competition side as well as possibly the dance side of cheer and drill. So, but it was a really good fall. So,
Great.
any questions or?
How many games did you go to?
A lot. I lost count.
Good to know.
No, I was just talking at basketball. So the fall is like a sprint because there's so many sports and there's something going on every single day and most Saturdays. Whereas basketball in the winter's like a marathon. They're a little more spread out, but it's 2 more months of the season. Our girls and boys are playing right now. Girls won their first game last week. Boys lost a tough one to OES. But we've got probably one of the hardest preseasons. Our first 11 games are really stacked for both the boys and the girls. Wrestling went down to Harrisburg this last weekend. Both boys and girls. I think the girls took 4th overall. Aaliyah Salcedo won. The girls. I'm still waiting for updates from normally the coaches send me updates and whatnot, but the winter's already off to a good start. So, and then we have holding our holiday basketball tournament this coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday here.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry for being late.
Work with the
Bye.
guys.
Head back. Thank you. Thanks for texting me.
Good job.
Maintenance report, Otto, you're up.
Oh, he brought show and tell.
The carpet permission.
Oh, that's for, last time I talked about, I forgot it for my last presentation, it was for.
That was
For the high school room, yeah, for Shadden's room. Pretty cool stuff, really thin actual layer of carpet over like a.
I can guarantee you it's a good carpet because it's been Red Bull that got spilt on it. That's scary.
Nice.
That was
Yeah,
huge.
About that, it's like, huh.
I took it and ran it underwater when we first got it, just to see if it was actually, but yeah, the water just goes right off. Yep, it comes in tiles, yeah. Yeah. I showed pictures of it last time. And Stephanie takes such good notes. She kept saying, you forgot the carpet sample. You got to bring it next time. Yeah, yeah. Anyway. Nice doormat. Okay. Facilities report. So I want to talk with you guys about the custodial, give you a custodial update, maintenance update, talk about some of the large projects that we're still working on finishing, and then talk about safety. Custodial, I just put holiday breaks as hard work or is work for them. That is their time, just so everybody's aware when the teachers and staff and kids go home, the custodians move in and use that time to catch up on everything. They're usually on a typical night, I'd say a custodian's probably spending 5 to 10 minutes in a classroom max, sometimes less, depending on what's going on. That's how quickly they have to get through those areas. We say 15 minutes per restroom, so they're really flying. But obviously, when you're moving that fast, you're not getting everything that you want to get. We've been working a lot as a group, as a team, to start working on noticing what you're not getting, and then when we have these breaks, which everybody else calls breaks, they call it extra work time. They have it in their head. Okay, this is what I haven't been able to get, and things like windows, windowsills, all that kind of stuff, waxing floors, cleaning desktops, countertops, that kind of stuff. And they get in and do all that and catch the schools up, and they do take time off too. And as a team, they've been doing so good that they're starting to feel comfortable taking vacation time during the vacations as well, because they are staying caught up and supporting each other, and they're feeling a lot more confident taking time off, which is great to see. It makes me happy. Sure. Oh yeah, we have just talk about sports. Yeah, we're transitioning from fall sports to winter sports. Primarily basketball is the one that takes most of the custodians' time in winter time, is getting that gym ready and then turning it around in the morning, both the gyms. So, and we do have our morning custodian, John Kemper, down at the grade school, just announced last week that he's going to retire this summer. So I'll try and bring him in here and have him come. We can thank him for his time. I think he's eight. He's been a custodian in the county for a long time, but I think he's been with us for maybe 10 years. Can't remember exactly, but a while. So our maintenance worker, that's Robert. He's been really stepping up, really helping out, doing a great job. That's a new position starting last year. And he's just recently, I just listed some of the stuff he's been doing, removing the AC units that were still in classrooms from the hot days. Getting through all those work orders. Work orders have definitely slowed down, so he's able to move on to other things. Putting slats in the fence at the SLC to create some privacy there. I'll show you later, but we're swinging the entrance to the junior high. It's going to go right next to the SLC's outdoor area, so we wanted to create privacy for them so that when everybody's coming in and out, they can have their outdoor stuff going on and not be being stared at. He's been working out in grade school banners for Carrie down there at the grade school, putting those in the hallway, replacing water filters, just all this stuff that helps me and buys me and gives me extra time to do my job. He has a IT background, or low voltage background, I mean. So he's been helping us out getting cameras installed, our security cameras. That's a huge help, I should say, and savings. He gets supplies for the custodians whenever they need them, and all sorts of other stuff as well. Whatever we need. Right now, he's subbing for a sick custodian over there at the junior high. So, lead custodian, that's Juan. He's been doing great, stepping up. He's starting to look at different chemicals we can use, talking more with our custodial product supplier. Helping keep the custodians stocked up, so he's monitoring their inventory so they don't have to do that. So we're creating systems to try and make ourselves more efficient, try and keep everybody doing what they're doing. He's definitely identifying areas for improvement, looking around saying, hey, we could do this better, helping the other custodians get better, helps me out for planning out what we're going to be doing over the holiday breaks. I'm doing a great job. Those aren't the actual people, by the way. I should get pictures of them. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, my daughter we got her these pens for her birthday over the weekend. She's in second grade, and she drew this out of memory.
That's awesome.
So I always have so we're doing good advertisement. I always have all the pirate gear on at home. So she just drew it out. And she said, "Does he have a mouth?" And I said, "Yeah, I think he does." So she put the little red mark there. So. But
How old?
I'm supposed to get board approval for any logos, right?
Amazing.
Yeah, she did good. She's second grade.
Wow.
She just turned 8.
Amazing.
Yeah, I remember because
It's great.
Dutch Bros Cups where they had kids enter a contest and then put them on the cup.
I like it. I don't know if I can wash it, so. So anyway, all the custodial team's been stepping up. Robert's been stepping up, really helping me out. And then all the work they're doing as well here at the district office has really given me time to start moving forward. I say, like, I grew up in a logging town and then I moved to Dayton, which is a farming town. So in high school, we'd spin a lot of donuts in our cars, you know? So spinning donuts is fun, right? But like, you're never going anywhere. And sometimes in jobs like this, you can get so busy that you end up like right back where you started over and over again. You're just going in circles, you know, you feel busy, but this last year, I felt like we're really transitioning towards like, hey, we're actually getting things done and we're not having to come back and do them again, which is a great feeling. And that is thanks to the work of these guys here in the district office, a lot. And then the support giving me the team I need to move forward. So I just wanted to share what I've been up to. Just systems development and systems development versus emergency response. That's exactly what I'm talking about is, you know, I'm starting to try and create systems for things so that we can get them done more efficiently. Routine maintenance, custodial, and safety. Those are really actually moving forward and we're seeing things not happening that would happen every year over and over again, which is great. That's a picture of me. I actually finally took the time to get the fall protection all figured out so that when I clean the gutters at the grade school, I can rub into the So I used to go around the grade school. It put fall protection in during construction and I just never had the time. It's always like an emergency, last minute, oh, rain's coming, we got to get the gutters cleaned out, right? I wish the leaves would fall down before the rain, but it never happens that way. So you always wait until the last minute to try and get the leaves out of the gutters. But I always just throw a ladder and go along the edge of the building, which takes forever. And every time you're going up and down a ladder, it's actually, you know, a little bit of a risk there. So I finally did the fall protection, took the time, and so I can hook into the ridge and just go down there with a blower along the edge and blow it all out, which is great. And next step is to get it installed at the high school. I've also been doing rekeying. We're trying to get rid of some of our old keyways so that we can make our own keys. It saves us money, saves us time. I had the door over at the multi out off of its hinges. You know, being able to take the time to do things that we would hire contractors for previously, I'm able to take those on and do them myself and save us money and get them done faster as well. Sure, we can go for it, I guess. Yeah. Oh, we got videos. I try and embarrass myself this time.
Nice.
This is John. John, we were looking for a wire. So this is the attic of the high school. So I know I'm supposed to have a mask on. Stuck in a hole.
Love it.
And I think we have one more. This one's kind of long, so I'll try and. This is the preschool. I was changing the cylinders out so we can start rekeying it for our keyway. It's just the process of one door. And we have a really good locksmith company that taught me how to do all this stuff and tells me all the right stuff, which is a key. I did bring my GoPro, yeah. I get really bored. I'm all by myself in the mornings. It's dark outside because it's early morning. So. But I bring it when I ride my motorcycle, so it's easy to grab it. So yeah, we take out the old cylinder, put the new one in, and then we have special cores. What's that? Over the last couple, I've probably done like 20 of those over the last couple of years. I still got 2 more to do at the preschool. Anyway, Takes probably about a half hour per door if everything goes right.
And you don't get interrupted 20 times.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here so early in the morning.
Yeah.
I gotta out time them. This is the new the main gym over there getting resurfaced. We transitioned to doing that between volleyball. Volleyball likes a slippery floor, and basketball likes a sticky floor. So we now are doing it in the fall between the seasons. So that's that. And then go to the next one. Oh, and the junior high gate. I'll show you guys a picture of that. And that's it right after the day after it got, a couple days after it got pre-finished. I didn't climb up on the stadium bleachers. You couldn't get that with the long pole on a camera. And that's the junior high entry new gate. They're going to transition to using that as their main entrance. We got to find a new home for the recycling containers, obviously, but that's going to be their new entrance. It will have access control. In other words, it'll be on our timer system so that it'll be locking and unlocking on its own.
What was the reason for moving it?
Just to cut down the traffic going. They wanted to be able to keep a better eye. I think they want to be able to keep a better eye on the junior high students and not have them crossing through where the high school is. So they wanted to swing the entrance around closer to the junior high office. So the junior high office is directly to my right where I took this picture. So they can keep an eye on who's coming in.
Anytime you have eyes on junior high kids, that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. Yep. Upcoming large projects, we have the access control at the new gate there. We're getting new reader board at the high school, and we're going to fix the junior high reader board and the grade school reader board. Decided to, if we're fixing everything, it would break down too. Just a couple weeks ago, it joined the club. We still have to fix the rotten structural stuff at the stadium and limp that along till the city can give us our money to hopefully build us a new stadium.
Yeah, that $400 isn't gonna
Yeah.
get far.
I was like, uh-oh, this just became pretty important. Grade school storm drain project, I still have to finish that up, and possibly grade school boiler system work. Still waiting to see how that comes out. Those are the big projects, and that's a mock-up of what our reader board will look like, and that's already approved, and we've picked a contractor and should be happening very soon on there. Yeah. Safety, we are developing emergency operations plan and emergency response plans. And as Sean mentioned, we're having the small, I call it the baby safety meeting. And that's a great meeting for safety because we just bring in the two assistant principals and John and Sean and myself. And we just sit down and we just get right down to, hey, what are we trying to do and how are we going to do it? And we just figure out, and we keep pushing that safety stuff forward and we're actually making a lot of progress with that. The big safety meetings are great. That's when everybody, principals and everybody shows up. But that's really been helpful to do that every 2 weeks, the small safety meeting. And we talk about facility stuff as well. We are gonna be rolling out the Safer Watch app. That's a screenshot of it on my phone. That's a pretty cool app that staff will be able to use for serious major emergencies. That will alert law enforcement or fire or medical, it'll alert emergency dispatch if there's an emergency, and they'll know what type of an emergency it is. It also alerts all of us, all employees in the district or at the site where it's at will know what the emergency is, and they'll even get a map and say where it is. So when I first started down in California to school, there was I think after a month of working there, somebody had a full cardiac arrest in the kitchen. And so if we had this app, I would have immediately, I was only 2 blocks away, luckily, but I would have immediately seen on the map where it was. And, but she survived.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was wild. And that is our, kind of, I pushed the safety committee to come up with a kind of I don't want to call it a mission statement, but what's our goal, right? That's our goal. I just wrote it down there to share with you guys.
Great.
Yeah, that's all I got. You guys have any questions?
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Otto.
Thank you guys.
Okay, then superintendent report.
All right.
You have music, right? I mean, now.
No music.
On.
Of my game.
Carpet samples?
Yeah,
Nothing.
no carpet samples. What was that?
You do have videos in here.
We don't have to play them.
Okay.
It's just they can operate as pictures. But so every board meeting, I'm trying to report out on our district goals, which to summarize in a few words is the first one is professionalism of our staff, and the second is student achievement. And so to get into the nitty-gritty, the metrics by which we're determining our success and professionalism is by this May, 100% of staff will demonstrate alignment with domain D standards by participating in at least 2 professional learning activities focused on building a supportive, respectful culture. There's a flashing check mark there because we've already done way more than 2 at each building and whole staff. Reduce documented staff culture concerns, complaints, HR reports, administrator logs by 50% from fall to spring through targeted professional learning, norms reinforcement, and leadership modeling. Obviously, we won't be able to measure that till this spring, but I'm confident that we will meet that goal. And then the last one on professionalism is each professional learning community or grade level team will assess quarterly using a team health rubric aligned with standards 9 and 10, showing a 10% improvement each term. And so that basically takes the standards to which teachers are and other staff are held accountable for their professional responsibilities and professional attitude, and allows teams to self-assess and assess each other as a team and reflect on that throughout the year. So with that, we gave a staff survey that was put together by our equity committee in the district. We have a survey that went to staff, went to the community and families, and one that's being pushed out to students this week. And we're going to be communicating out on not only the results of those surveys, but inviting various stakeholders to the table to determine next steps based on some of the themes that emerge. But this is the staff survey, so you can see yellow and green are agree and strongly agree. This first one is I feel welcome at school. So that's yeah, go ahead.
It says 64 responses. If everybody responded, how many would there be?
So there's 77 now. How many, Stephanie and Sean, staff, what do we have? 130. So 77 now, but they can continue to take it up till break.
Okay,
So
I just wondered if there's.
yeah, some of these
Mhm.
some of these pie charts have been updated if the percentages changed in a meaningful way since the 64 went to 77, but
Got it.
I try not to change the board report so Stephanie doesn't get mad at me. I know my school's goals and feel motivated to achieve them. Again, you can see the agree and strongly agree compared to the disagree or the strongly disagree. And this is a significant, I'd have to look at the growth from previous surveys. They're not the exact same statements that staff are responding to because this is an internal survey. We're no longer paying for the Youth Truth survey. But a lot of the statements are from nationally normed surveys. And this is one that I know there's been a large improvement on because staff, the previous 2 years I was here were not all feeling like they were aware of what the goals were that they were working toward. I often reflect on how I can improve my performance at work to meet my students' needs. You see all staff are in agreement with that. I believe our school is moving in a positive direction. This is a pretty telling pie chart here with the majority agreeing with that statement. Staff at the school act in a professional manner. So you can see this is an area that we didn't have as much of a majority agreeing with, and it's the area that we are working explicitly on with all of our staff. And when you look at the comments regarding this particular statement, staff talk about colleagues and ways in which they don't feel like we're not yet still engaging in like hard conversations with each other that are respectful and tactful, but more the talk about each other. And so it's an area that they're aware of and that we're aware of and that we're continuing to work on. Disagreements are handled respectfully and constructively. Again, that speaks to the same thing I was talking about with the last statement, but we still see a lot more staff in agreement with this statement than we've historically seen on these surveys. And so here's some.
That's a quick question on these. When you see, that there's a decent percentage that disagree, is it our overall goals that are bringing it up and increasing these positive responses, or is there some targeted work if the you know. if
Right,
there's-
so we're bringing the equity committee back together during the second week of January to determine next steps. But ultimately, what you want to do is figure out what are the main themes that emerge from the survey, and to what extent do we need to focus on those themes if they're congruent with our priorities as a district? Because sometimes staff will not necessarily like a certain initiative, and yet that initiative is important to move forward. And so you wouldn't necessarily change direction based on that, but you might change communication or more involvement in determining the specifics on the how. So it's really dependent on what themes emerge, but ultimately we're going to have to do either some empathy interviews, focus groups, or additional surveys to dig in a little more, because I don't know that we have the amount of comments needed from any survey to really be able to identify with certainty that this is the issue that we need to work on. So there'll be a little bit more digging, but I think oftentimes the work really is just demystifying where we're at. So staff know this is something that we're focusing on. So here's some comments from the responses that pertain to professionalism. The current admin focus on a positive and healthy school climate. The current admin focus, sorry, on a positive and healthy school climate is creating a more respect between staff. I feel really good about this year and the staff morale. People seem happy, united, and willing to collaborate and remain positive, but also willing to have hard conversations with maturity as the focus. I believe we're moving in the right direction. Continue to hold students accountable for attendance, behavior, and academics. It's making a huge difference. Continue to respond to emails promptly and continue to see how hard teachers work. Meetings are held, and because of it, I see better results in students' behavior and learning accomplished. And then this was a longer one, so it takes up its whole slide, but having clear agreements and confronting issues with respect and professionalism will continue to help move the culture toward one of professionalism. We'll grow much faster when we confront issues and communicate what we will allow and what we will not allow. This will also help staff gain confidence to confront issues. Overall, the staff has embraced the changes we are making and are willing to contribute to the team and do the hard work. We have so much potential, and the better we understand where we are currently performing and what our priorities are, the better the decisions we will make about the budget, master scheduling, handbook policies, professional learning, and day-to-day practice. I thought that was a pretty good summary and explanation of how a lot of the staff are feeling. The second priority for the district is student achievement. And the first focus is on both math and language arts proficiency, with the goal being by June of this year, the percentage of students meeting or exceeding grade level benchmarks in language arts and math on the state assessment will increase by 10% district-wide, supported by collaborative instructional planning. Obviously, we won't know until the following fall how we did on that measure, but we are implementing more interim assessments to be able to know how our students are doing in real time and not wait for the summative results at the end of the school year. So the next metric with that is 100% of professional learning communities will analyze common formative assessment data at least monthly to adjust instruction using agreed upon norms and protocols. All staff K-12 are bringing writing samples at least once a month. More often it's twice a month to collaboratively score together and determine next steps. So that is happening currently. So that's why you've got the flashing check mark there. And then staff agreement with the statement, students are getting a high quality education at the school will increase from 48% to 85% on the 2026 climate survey. I believe you'll see it at 84%, but I put a check mark there anyway because that's a huge increase.
That's great.
Yeah. So if you go to the next slide, this is a picture of our fearless instructional leaders on a dress up day. So you'll see Robin, Nicole, and Jamie as Ted Lasso there, and Dana as a cowgirl. But they were working intently at an admin meeting, reading a common text, and I'm happy to say all of our administrators take their role as instructional leader very seriously and are very engaged in their meetings on how to improve instruction at each of our schools. What you see here, I believe these are from the junior high school. The same start to the year at the grade school, where we collected samples of student writing, just a real basic explain and describe sentence prompt, and staff were able to see with green being on grade level, yellow being not quite, and red being far below. We had a lot of work to do. So there was kind of a call to action in terms of writing that happened district-wide. And this Work is continuing in our January in-service, which is January 5th. If you're interested in attending or able to attend, you'll see bringing student evidence to the table and looking at how our students are progressing since the beginning of the year is going to be part of that work, and then looking how opportunities to increase informational writing and speaking will fit into our lesson and unit design after break. We can just probably skip to the next slide, I think, John. Those are just videos of people engaged in professional development. Again, this is part of the staff survey. Students are getting a high quality education at this school. I can't do that fast math in my head, but we are close to 85% at this point, which is a huge jump from 48% of staff saying last year at this time the same was happening. And they haven't been told explicitly that we're judging our growth on this particular statement. So that was an organically happening phenomenon. And then some of the statements from the survey that pertain to that goal. The quality of our students' education is far better this year than it has been for the past 5 to 6 years. The current interventions used in math, reading, and writing are supporting our students to be more academically successful and closer to grade level. Attendance has also improved, and so has parent involvement. We're on the way to increasing achievement and helping our students to dream big for their future. I still feel we need to focus more attention onto our high academic students. This is moving in the right direction. Traditionally, much of our efforts were on remedial opportunities for low academic students. Admin professional development has been making a difference. So is the implementation of systems and improved communication with all stakeholders. And going over expectations has helped. This is from our state report card. This is just a snapshot of what the state looks at, and particularly it looks at the growth from year to year, not the growth from a cohort alone. So you're not looking at the third grade growth from third grade to fourth grade, but our growth of third graders at 1 year to the growth that's a different third grade group the next year. If that makes sense. So you can see while we're still not performing as high as the Oregon average, you do see our trajectory is moving up in our student achievement metrics. So language arts, math, and science. We grew, our class size decreased, which is a good thing according to the state metrics. And then this shows our regular attendance as attenders as dropping from the previous year at the grade school. At the junior high, you can see the improvement in both language arts and low class size again, but you see last year we had a dip in math, science, and attendance at the junior high level. And then for high school, the high school metrics are different than other grade levels. So you see our class average size is 18. Again, attendance dropping at the high school, on track to graduate, improving, which they look at ninth graders who are passing the amount of credits that they would need to pass each year if they were to graduate on time. On time graduation dropping by 1%, but 5-year completion improving, meaning we're capturing potential dropouts or students that would need an extra year to complete their learning. Sometimes that's a student who is an English learner. And then the college going rate is not accurate. I don't know why the state continues to report on that, because they use the National Clearinghouse data, which is widely known for not being accurate. If a student's not self-reporting where they're at, that they're not showing up. So we're having Efrain collect internal data, and he's going to update this number for us because we did have an improvement from the previous year in our college going rate. And then just looking at our diagnostic measures, this is from Jamie Luke. Of the 68 students who are in the intervention math class, the average baseline diagnostic score was third grade. The most recent diagnostic shows an average of 348, so it would be third grade, the 5th month of third grade, with an overall growth of 48. 100 is a full year's growth. On average, students in the intervention math class have made a half year's growth in less than a half year's time, which means they're on track to make more than a year's growth in a year's time. What I just want to highlight is this is what our administrators should be doing. They should be taking dipsticks of where their kids are at according to our priorities every month at the very least and reporting out. So just this reporting and knowing where our kids are at is a huge gain, I think, in our administrative team. We've already moved students out of IXL classes and into higher level classes, and we've had some of our middle school algebra students move into high school algebra where they will receive high school credit. We'll also be creating a new 8th grade math section for our students who've made enough growth to create another section. So our administrators really took that push from remediation to acceleration to heart. So instead of continually shifting our instruction to meet students at a lower level, we're trying to improve our instruction so they make more than a year's growth in a year's time and catch them up. Grade school reading, this is currently the percent of kids at grade level at each grade. Now, keep in mind that this is still early in the year, so this is at grade level compared to what the grade level would be at the end of the year. So you can expect more, obviously, gains as we move through the year, but you can see a significant portion of our students is already meeting at least the reading level, which is a huge improvement from previous years as well. And then you asked last meeting about pathway enrollment numbers. The highlighted yellow are currently umbrellaed under the precision ag pathway as we work to build back the ag specific classes, but you'll see Charlie's automotive classes at 68, fabrication 18, construction 28, early childhood and education classes at 29, culinary hospitality 67, business is 51, and then health and human performance combined together is 22 students. And granted, some of those students might be enrolled in more than one pathway, so those numbers don't necessarily mean 263 separate students, but 263 courses taken by students. So that's all I've
It's
got.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay, if there's no more questions, that brings us to scheduled board events. The next meeting is Tuesday, January 13th at 6 o'clock. And
So it's on a Tuesday this time?
it is.
Regular schedule.
That brings us,
Wouldn't it be the 12th? Or did you say the 12th?
no, I said the 13th. That's what was printed here.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Cause it's on a Tuesday.
Tuesday. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about what I was or was not looking at.
Board reflection, Chris, you have anything?
I don't actually have anything this time. Thank you.
You got a lot.
Ann? No? Veronica? Piper?
I'm just encouraged that we've got this, we're measuring how, kids are feeling about school. We're measuring getting to that grade level. We're measuring what it is we're trying to accomplish. And I think that measurement and continuing to do that is going to make a big difference. And it just has felt so dismal, like obviously not just here, but everywhere, that it's encouraging to see the numbers are starting to creep up and everybody knows what they're working towards. And I think that sounds great.
Terry?
What Piper said, but I just want to say thank you, to be honest, as a board member, all of you guys, because it's so obvious sitting here listening to these reports that we're making progress and good things are happening, and things that were broken and have been broken for years, we're fixing them and we're going to turn it around. And it warms my heart to see it happen. And I just thank you for all the hard work you put into this.
Kendra, what's the feeling at the school?
I would have to say that there's not really much complaints about the school whatsoever. Most I'm getting is most students don't really like the 4-period passing time because sometimes they don't have enough time to go to the bathroom when it's on the other side of the school, since there's so many kids in this one bathroom already that's closest to them. Something else is that when they have to get from the new gym back to the main school area for the high school, that also is a lot to do in 4 minutes.
Yeah, I appreciate he's not here, and Frank is working his ass off right now, and he does a lot, and And I appreciate him for doing that. And Sean, I appreciate all the stuff you've been doing too. So we haven't had it before and it's been missing for years. So it's about time we finally get it put together, like Terry said, and get on the right track. So.
Our grade school Christmas programs are next week. If you'd like to come watch, Tuesday and Wednesday, 6:30.
Will you save me a chair?
There's not a lot of seating actually.
No, that's why I said that.
You have to get there like at 4.
I have sat through those.
Age man.
I was just kidding.
My son does have a speaking part though.
Oh, yay. So what's the role?
Tree number one.
Let's hear it. My daughter was singing the songs and dancing earlier today. So.
So it's like kind of like the movie, what is it? Or the emotions movie, I can't remember, Inside Out.
Oh, yeah.
But kind of, I think that's like my gist of what the storyline is kind of, but he's laziness.
That's amazing. That doesn't define him in any way.
No, it doesn't. See.
All right, I'll close the board meeting at 7:13.
Thank you all very much.
Called Amber.